everybody, and welcome to Betweenplays Stock Market Strategies. All right, I have a treat for everyone out there today. We have with us Louis Marin, CEO. Hello, sir. And we have Pierre O'Dowd of Opus One Gold Corporation. Hi, guys. How are you doing today?
Very good. Thank you. How about you?
So now we're heading into the subject of gold and mining. This is pretty much of a hot topic considering what we look at what's going on with the world, but we'll get into a little bit more about that later. Louis, CEO, I would like to ask you not so much of a personal question, but if you can give us a little bit of your background business history.
Sure. I've been involved in the mining sector. I have a running gag saying I'm more than 50 years in the mining sector, but that's true. My dad was a geo, and when I was a kid, he was bringing me during summer vacation to do light duties in the field with him. And then I studied in civil engineering, and I have a background in practical building of roads, of all kinds of devices like that. And then I studied in economics, and I was investment advisor with major brokerage firms for 17 years. Always kept an interest for mining because I believe in development and I believe in creating wealth from nothing, which is what happens when you find a mine somewhere. There was nothing before, and there is a fortune being discovered. And I'm a consultant on my own since 2002, and I was involved with different mining companies, and some were successful. Some have been bought out by major companies, and this is what we keep on doing. We know mining exploration. We had success in mining exploration, and I think we have a very good story to tell you today.
Oh, that sounds really excellent. And Pierre, can we get some of your background, sir?
Okay, I'm a professional geologist, graduated from Montreal University in 1978. So that makes me, I guess, an experienced person. I spent the first 15 years of my career with major companies, Falconbridge, Noranda, and others. And I started my career in Quebec. Then in the early 90s, I moved in South America. That was with Noranda at the time. So I spent some time in Chile. When I came back from Chile, I decided to become a consulting geologist, and mostly working in the Andes and in Canada as well. So I worked a lot in the Americas at large, and that's what I'm still doing right now. I joined Opus One in 2018, if I recall. I'd worked with Louis before. We worked in Mexico in 2005 to 2008, if I recall. We developed a silver deposit over there, and the company we were with was bought. It was a pretty good success at the time. And with Opus One, I joined, as I mentioned, the company in 2018. And we acquired our flagship property in 2019. That was a property I worked on before around 2006, 2007 as a consultant. And I knew that the project was very good. So we were able to acquire this project in 2019 and started running on it on 2020.
Okay. And that's very interesting because that literally leads me into the next question. So some background on the company, so that way our audience understands certain things. Like I'm really curious, and I'm very curious. I always ask this to, the CEOs or the people that are here that I'm interviewing. It's why that area? What made you go there? How come you decided I'm going to go check there? I feel something's over there. How did that work? can you just get some background and lead us into today?
You want to reply to this? John?
Yeah, sure, Louis. As I mentioned, I've worked a lot in the Abitibi Greenstone Belt, and I stumbled on this project called Noyell in 2006. And at the time, we did a little bit of work. I was with a client that was not a junior company, that was not, I must admit, very serious. But nevertheless, we were able to do some drilling over there, and we had what I thought was pretty good success. But the company was more interested in investing in Mexico at the time. So basically, the project fell dormant for a while. They tried to spin it up for another junior. Times were difficult in 2012, didn't work. So it seems that the project was plagued with bad luck, bad timing, and I kept it back in my mind. One day I'm going to go back there, okay? Because I know I had very good results. People don't seem to realize that how good it was, and we had the opportunity to buy it from the owner. And in 2019, the owner was not working in Quebec anymore. The company was working in South America. So they had no interest in the project. So we were able to get it for a decent price.
Wow, that's really good. That's a great story, actually. And a lot of people are like sort of going to South America and stuff like that. But I mean, Canada is as a government, we're so stable. And sometimes we have to be very careful about other countries because of the instability that the governments have over there. So that means that you got a great project, and we're in a country with political stability, which is very important.
Yes, I would add something. Our project is located very close to a mine-friendly community. We are located 25 kilometers south of the city of Matagami.
Yes.
And we did a presentation with the Matagami City Council, and they have a strong desire for us to put into the production our ore body we found there. The big difference with many other projects, although they are in Quebec in a stable jurisdiction, many are located too far. They're just too far to ever become economical. Like when you are located far north, there is the North Premium. The North Premium, you require a huge deposit with higher grades, and those have failed to be found as of yet. While our deposit is located 70 kilometers from an operating gold mill. So infrastructures are already there. It's easily accessible. That makes a difference. So we don't have the necessity to find such a big deposit to make it economical.
That's very, very, very interesting, because I think a lot of investors are learning something here today about this Northern Premium, that you have require a big deposit and also a high grade of that deposit. This is very interesting news, because naturally, as investors, we don't always know every single little thing. And we have a lot of new retail investors that are out there. Even though some people have, a lot of money, it doesn't mean that they're professionals, but they are looking to understand a company or an industry. And once again, I find that the gold industry is a very interesting industry, especially with everything that's going on. Louis, I know that you have a nice investor presentation. I don't know if you or Pierre would want to get into that.
Sure.
But I think that it would be great for viewing purposes, and as well structure purposes, especially since it's our first interview and we really want people to understand your company in depth.
Sure, with pleasure.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, you see here a geological map, simplified, I must say, geological map of the Abitibi Greenstone Belt, the Quebec side of it, the border being over here. Do you see my arrow?
Yes, perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the border between Quebec and Ontario is over there. Our properties are in red. So we have a series of properties along the Quezaberardi break. We have a property in the Bachelor Lake area. We have a property in the Windfall Batty Windfall Camp, and we have a property in the Val d'Or area. Our flagship property is the Noyell project located here, but we also have two other pretty large projects in the same area. As you can see, I've put on this map the approximate gold production on every of the break. So if we go south, we have the Cadillac break. The Cadillac break is produced in Quebec and Ontario, approximately 1 million ounces of gold. Just north of it is the Porcupine Destor break that has produced over 75 million ounces of gold, mostly from the Ontario side. We have further north the Quezaberardi Douay Cameron break, and with the Quezaberardi mine being west of us, and the Vezza mine being a former gold mine that closed, shut down 2 years ago, if I recall, and just between our properties. And that break produced approximately so far 10 million ounces. And further north, the break that hosts the Detour Lake Gold, and also the Martinière deposit, over 17 million ounces of gold. So you see, those breaks, those big faults, crystal faults, are very important to concentrate, to channelize the gold that comes from the deep into the crust. So all our projects are located along one of those big structures that brings the gold from depth towards surface.
Okay, I see that. Yes.
Okay, and our flagship project, as I mentioned, is the Noyell project, and I guess we can.
The Noyell project is just south of Matagami.
That's correct.
Yes, I'll go back here. Matagami is located 25-30 kilometers to the north of us, and the road actually goes through our projects. The road going to Amos. So the Noyell project was acquired in 1990, and we were able to start drilling in 2020. Well, unfortunately, we were stopped by COVID, so we only drilled 2 holes. Fortunately, the 2 holes hit. I was quite convinced that we would have success, because since I was the last geologist to work on this project in 2007, 2009, I knew exactly where the data was. We were able to get all the data. I had a report that mentioned that the project was ready to drill. I already unmarked targets, very well defined. So we drilled only 2 holes, and the 2 holes hit zone, what we call now zone number 1. And in 2021, we were able to go back, and we drilled all winter, and with 1 machine, 1 drill rig, and we were able to complete on the deposit so far. We were able to complete 5,000 meters.
Being at the definition drilling stage is we found something. It's just a matter of how big it is.
Okay.
But a lot of the risk is behind us, because we have an ore body right now. We now know pretty well the shape of the ore body, but we still have some work to do for the size. But this is where you have much less risk in an exploration company when you are at that stage, and not so many exploration companies can claim they are at definition drilling stage.
Okay. So yes, I see. Because you're already hitting stuff. You know what you're basically what you're getting, and so you've already put some risk behind you.
Exactly.
You're not looking.
You will see in the upcoming slides
Okay.
what we're talking about.
Perfect.
I would like to show you a more detailed map of our land position in the south of Matagami along the Quezaberardi break. We've got the Noyell project with the yellow star being our discovery zone 1, located right in the center of the project. And we've got our Vezza Extension project located just west of the former Vezza mine, the other yellow star over there. And we have the Vezza North project. All the yellow dots are gold showings discovered mostly through drilling. You can see that this area is a district scale gold anomaly. We've got gold on our zone 1 over here. We've got other zone of gold in the western part of the property.
Yeah.
There's pretty much gold everywhere in between our Noyell project and the Vezza mine. This property that does not belong to us hosts several gold showings. As I mentioned, it's all in drilling because there are no outcrops over there. It's all overburden covered, so everything is through drilling. Then you've got the Vezza mine that was in production for a number of years, I think 4 or 5 years. And we interpreted that the Vezza horizon continues. The yellow line over here is the interpretation of the Vezza horizon on our Vezza Extension property. That was never drilled.
Okay.
Never drilled. So this is brand new ground that we would like one day to drill. So if you look in terms of scale, the scale is back down here. This is 5 kilometers.
Yeah.
So if you take a look at all our project, we've got like over 25 kilometers of strike of favorable ground. This is a district scale play that we're having there. So after the defining zone 1, we will have a lot of ground actually to discover more. I think it's important. Okay, here we have a close-up on the Noyell project and the central portion where we did our drilling in 2020 and 21. And I'd like to show you a cross-section here through the deposit. It's very important to show cross-sections of deposits. Many companies don't do that. And there's a very good reason why they don't want to show you a cross-section. It's because their geology is extremely complicated, complex, and they don't want you to know. We want you to know that our geology is very, very simple. So I will show you a cross-section here, and this is it. So
yes,
4 holes on this cross-section. So basically now we're down to approximately 350 meters vertical depth.
yes.
The mineralization is in red, and it starts right from below the overburden. So it's right from surface, and it's continuous from hole to hole to hole. The mineralization, the grade, the thickness, pretty homogeneous deposit. We're talking about approximately 3 meters in width and grades around 5 grams, 6 grams, and a very, very continuous from hole to hole. So this is a very, very simple, I'm talking about the geometry, but very simple geometry and very regular and a pretty steep dip of the mineralization, making it a very easily mineable ore body. One factor that needs to be mentioned here is the angle of the deposit. The deposit is very simple, think of a plywood sheet, and the angle is 67 degrees, which means here gravity works for you. When gravity works for you, you've got a lot of operating costs. It's a very simple mining operation that will only require 1 shaft. And what it does mean as well is that surface, it will be a very small environmental footprint, which is very important nowadays. Okay, I'll show you a series now of longitudinal sections from the beginning when we got the project and to this point where we are right now. So when we got the project in 2019, this is what was known. So there was a little bit known, as you can see. There was 1 hole, the discovery hole, belonged to Cominco in 1988. Cominco drilled a series of holes, and at that time, Cominco was in the process of leaving Quebec. So they drilled a few holes, and not very long after that. These are actually excellent results. So in 2007, I was able to carry out a drilling program and with excellent results. Excellent results. I was very impressed by the results. And at that time, more or less, that's the picture of what could be said about the project, the economical part of the project being in red. Everything
Yes.
in red here is mineable. The
Okay.
yellow is low grade, and the white is when there's no grade or very little grade. So the part that is really interesting is the red portion. So 20 we came and we did two holes, and suddenly the deepest portion of the deposit opened.
Yeah, it's
And
opening. Yes.
it became larger, and actually the best hole ever was drilled in this portion of the deposit here. In 2020, we had a spectacular cut there. So we were able to finance the property, and we came back in 2021. And this is what we got in 2000. Oh,
Wow.
this thing is opening at depth.
Wow.
Over that's approximately 400 meters. Okay, the red zone is approximately 400 meters east-west. So this thing now goes from surface down to 400 meters, and it's wide open at depth. And we saw
Wow.
that the cross section that I showed was right in the center of the deposit here.
Incredible. Yeah,
I would like to add in Abitibi, 400 meters is shallow depth. Many very profitable deposits have been found much deeper than 400. And
Wow.
we're only at 400 right now.
and you have 400 and it's open.
It's still open.
It's still
Yeah,
open.
it's just,
Then
it's huge.
I made a projection for what the next phase of drilling would bring us, okay? And this is this slide. So
Oh.
all the dots, the green dots represent the proposed drilling. So the proposed drilling will actually be open the depth extension of the deposit, as well as would define something near surface, because near surface is basically just one hole. Just all the rest is not been drilled yet. So there's a possibility of building tonnage right at surface, right below the 20 meters of overburden. You can actually build something significant there. And then you can see that we can open the potential at depth. So we would open it down to 500 meters. This is becoming a very significant deposit by now.
Absolutely.
Like that, whole deposit are elongated vertically. So if you have like 400 meters, 500 meters of strike length, horizontal length, you can expect 4 times on average vertical extension.
Wow. 4 times
So,
vertical extension.
So if we get 4 times the vertical extension of this thing,
Yeah.
we're in business. We're in
Big
business.
time.
Big time. And this is easy geology, easy geometry, starting right from surface. So
Yeah.
we can start something pretty cheap right at surface. It's 25, 30 kilometers from the nearest mining town. Gee, show me a better project.
Yeah, no, this is quite something, especially with your stock price at 4 cents. That's crazy.
I just wanted to show something. It's important. Those are the economical intervals of zone 1. Okay.
Okay.
The ones with metal factor above 10. Metal factor, I will explain, is grade times length. So if you have 5 grams over 2 meters, metal factor will be 10. 10 is like the lower limit. Below 10, it might not be economical to mine your deposit, but everything above 10 is you're in the money. What I wanted to show are the various holes making the long section that we just saw. I wanted to show that it's not one value that carries the whole interval. Let's say, for instance, you have one value, 100 grams over half a meter, and you make it a 5 meter interval at, I don't know what it would give, 3, 4, 5 grams, but it's only one value carrying the whole interval. Here we've got multiple values. So let's take, for instance, this hole number 4 here. We've got a 4 grammer, a 3 grammer, another 4
grammar, 21 grams, 2 grams, 1.4, 1.4. So you see that this interval is made up of several gold intervals that are very interesting. And it's the same for every single hole. If you take hole number 6, there's a 2.5, a 17, a 4.8 over here. And then there's a 18, there's a 30. So it's multiple. Gold is spread over the entire length of the interval. It could be over 6 meters, could be over 4 meters, but there's gold all the way. So
Yes.
it's a decent structure. It's a very good structure. It's pretty homogeneous, and as I mentioned, it's very continuous from hole to hole. So sometimes I've worked on the gold deposit. You've got gold in every hole, but you cannot put two along the same line.
Okay.
So it's a multiple vein system, very complicated, very costly, very difficult to make tonnage with this type of deposit. This thing is like we mentioned, a plywood panel. It's very, very homogeneous, very easy to mine.
Amazing. Amazing. I think everybody learned something there. That's for sure. Oh yeah. It's good to know the differences. That's for sure. A lot of investors out there are going to be going, okay, I got to be paying attention to that. Makes your company even more sweet right now.
That's why when you look at a project, a gold project, or any other project for that matter, when you look at the project, it's very interesting to have both views, the longitudinal view and the cross-section view. The cross-section view tells you if your gold is really continuous, because on the longitudinal section, you can make it believe that it's very continuous, that every gold interval that you get from one hole to the other are connected. But you can see on cross-section that most of the time, or very often, they are not, and they could not be connected.
Okay.
And if they are not connected, your deposit is a big problem.
Okay. So it's very costly at that point. Okay. All right. I see. I understand. Very interesting.
So we have other projects, mostly gold projects, but I would say that this is our flagship project, the Noyell project. And in the near future, in the near term, we would like to concentrate on this project, obviously.
So basically, what's the objectives that we have going on?
On our Noyell property, we have a very reasonable objective. The deposit is, as I mentioned, is close to town. It's close to all infrastructures.
We're located close to infrastructures, but we're just high enough that we qualify for the Plan North in Quebec. Okay.
Okay.
So what does that mean? We have 5 properties that qualify for Plan North. That means we get substantial tax credits for all the works we do, and tax credit go up to a little above 40%.
Oh yeah, above 40%.
Yeah.
Okay, and just
So
out of
for
curiosity,
each dollar we spend on all those property that qualify for Plan North, we get 40 cents back, which is very significant.
yeah. So the 40 cents on the dollar. I mean, that's a significant amount of savings. So
Yeah.
it's money just being put right back into your pocket consistently. No,
Yeah.
it's definitely a no-brainer. I like the project that you guys have going on, and I'm sure that the investors are just going to be really interested in knowing more, especially when all those updates come. So you know what, that was very interesting for the investor presentation. So I was looking at your financial statements, and it looks very clean, very little or no debt, and you have cash on hand. So how does that, how where are we looking to go in the future with this? Are we looking to maybe get some private placements? What are we looking at here?
Things for sure. You mentioned our book is clean, and this is something we are very strict on. All our service providers are paid, and being located where we are, like I mentioned, our exploration costs are among the lowest in the industry. So investors who put money in us are getting more for their money.
Yeah.
And we have an ore body that is, like we mentioned earlier in the presentation, inaccessible place. So it is very likely to become an economical gold deposit that has real chances to be in production.
That's excellent. And that leads me to one of my last questions for you.
Yep.
So, what do we need to do from here to get to a PEA, preliminary economic assessment? Where
More drilling.
more drilling, right? So
More drilling.
I was thinking the exact same thing. I really enjoyed all this time that I had with you learning about your company. I doubt that your share price will be staying at this low. Completely seems undervalued. I don't see the logic in it being, maybe it's just a word of mouth. And once this gets out there, yeah, because
If I can add something to what you're saying, we are ridiculously undervalued. I agree. And the reason is, well, there was COVID. All the convention we used to go to, all the people we know, we were prevented from meeting because of restrictions. But we start now with you presenting the company. So your investors will have the opportunity to be among the first who hear, as investors, a good part of our story.
I truly appreciate that, honestly. And I think all my audience is going to appreciate that too. And definitely, guys, Louis and Pierre, I would love to have you for any updates in the future
Sure.
Of your company.
Sure.
Okay. And naturally, for all of our audiences out there, we'll have this up on YouTube and on Spotify, and hopefully soon on our Apple podcast.
We have good news in the pipeline, and I will keep you posted. So,
Oh, thank
stay
you.
tuned.
Really appreciate that. So we'll have you back up here for the next interview then.
Sure.
All right. Thank you, Louis, and thank you, Pierre. On behalf of
Thank
Between
you.
Play Stock Market Strategies, see you next time.
See you.
Thank you.
See you.
Bye now.
Bye.